Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 23. So in last episode, we managed to beat the Vancouver Canucks in a hard-fought 7-game series. Now, what's interesting about this series, by comparison to the one against the Ducks, we were down 3-1 in the series, and I honestly thought, this is our last chance, and we're not going to probably end up winning any of these games coming up. Like, I thought we could maybe get it to a Game 6, but I didn't feel like we were going to get to a Game 7. But we decided to make some little bit of line changes, and we made a drastic change to put Aiden Tays in net for the game. The first game he plays, he picks up a shutout, and I think he made like 35 saves. His second game, he plays in the Game 6 situation, which is another do-or-die situation. He only allows one goal in that game. We win 4-1. Then Game 7, he shuts them out again. So he only allowed one goal in a 3-game span, and he got us all the way back to the conference finals again when he had a terrible regular season in one game. So I was not really expecting him to come in and be that guy like he was when we won the Stanley Cup, but he came back in and he just picked up where he left off, basically. You can see in the regular season his numbers have not been great the last few years, but then you see his last 2 playoff runs, and I honestly don't know how he's this good. Like, he had a 928 when we won the Stanley Cup. This year he has a 990 through 3 games. So we'll definitely have a chance to play him probably in this conference finals. But I will probably start Novikov for Game 1 just because Novikov is technically the starter. And if Novikov doesn't play good, like he gets completely blown up, then we'll turn to Tays again. And yeah, maybe Tays will continue where he left off in those 3 games. Because without him, we would not have gotten to this conference finals. So, like, his career playoff numbers are actually kind of outrageous. Like, he's in 38 playoff games, he's 24-11-1. He's got 5 shutouts, a 924 save percentage, and a 2.36 goals against average. You go to his regular season numbers, he's 74-44-16 with 9 shutouts and 899 and a 2.99. So the goals against is not bad. The save percentage is kind of mid. And then 9 shutouts in 143 games regular season wise, but in playoff wise he has almost half that, or just above half that, and in 38 games only. It's outrageous how good he is in the playoffs. And then, like, preseason wise, he's a fantastic goalie as well, but playoff wise, I just cannot believe how good he's been. He's definitely probably the best player I've ever had in terms of, like, just being a pure playoff goalie. Like, I might have to bring him back as a third-string goalie again just to be a playoff goalie maybe next year, if we are a playoff team, that is. Because we might suffer a retirement to Jorgensen this offseason. But, yeah, it's going to be an interesting conference finals as well, though, because we are going to be taking on the Seattle Kraken, who have our former defender, one of our former top defenders, actually, I should say, in Boris Zikov. He had a fantastic first 2 rounds. In 11 games, he's got 12 points. He's got 6 goals as a defender, which is crazy. Because, 6 goals in 11 games. He's scoring like 1 goal every 2 games, basically. So that's pretty outrageous. And, obviously he's still looking for his first Stanley Cup. So if we do get eliminated in this conference finals and Seattle wins the Stanley Cup, I won't be that disappointed because we already have a cup. And then Borsikov will get a cup, but damn, it's just kind of crazy. Also, Bryson Festrini is looking for a Stanley Cup as a 75 overall. He's dropped off a lot too. He was from that 2024 draft that we had way back. So, I'm not really sold on this Kraken team. They do have a guy that picked up over 100 points somehow on this team, so there must be something I'm missing in terms of their roster, but forward depth-wise, they don't really have a lot of it. Defensively, this is probably the best defensive core we've had to play yet in the playoffs, which is kind of saying a lot because it's not really that great of one. And then their goaltending, though, this is something that probably will help them end up winning some games, as they have an 87 and an 84, so they kind of have a really good 1-2 punch. While us, we kind of have, well, Tays is a great playoff goalie, he's a 79, but is he going to be that type of guy that could beat an elite goaltender that's an 87 overall? I don't know. So there is that. Let's get into this conference finals and see if we could actually make it back to the Stanley Cup finals for the first time since a few years ago, because we missed the playoffs last year, I think it was, right? Yeah, because we missed the playoffs last year. The year before, we won the Stanley Cup. So technically, with technically we haven't had a playoff race in between. So technically, anything above this conference finals is just added stuff, basically. Like, after winning that Stanley Cup, any other cups and stuff like that is just, it's a bonus, basically. But anyways, let's get into this conference finals. See if we could beat Borisikov, or will Borisikov get a chance to win his first Stanley Cup? Because, like I said, I wouldn't mind him winning a Stanley Cup, but at the same time, obviously, it'd be nicer for our team to win a Stanley Cup too, considering this team is definitely not the best team I've ever had in the playoff run, but somehow they're doing really well. Like, we're technically a cheese team in a sense. So there's that. Let's see what happens here. Game 1, the Kraken swept the second round, so we got to be careful about that. They're definitely a better team than other teams we faced. First period of an all-important Game 1 at Climate Pledge Arena, I guess, and we're up 2-1. Okay, Danner opened the scoring early. Stevens scores on the power play for them, so we are starting Novikov this game. So he only has a short leash, though, because like I said, Aiden Tays might go back in. So they get a power play goal, which is not good. That our penalty kill was really good in the second round by comparison to the first round, so hopefully it doesn't allow a lot of power play goals in the conference finals. And Hartnell continues where he left off. He had a really, really good second round. First round, he was kind of very quiet, but second round, he really turned it on. Shots are 16-11 in favor of the Kraken. We're up by a goal. Can we add some insurance in the second period? Second period, 4-2. That's better. That's better. Bomeister made it 3-1. Jacobson pulled them within 1, so that's their top guy. And then Bobkov restored the 2-goal advantage going into the third. That's a huge goal from Bobkov. He's usually more of a passer, so it's good to see him getting a goal. Shots are 26-22 in favor of us. We're up by 2 goals. Let's lock this one down here. Let's lock it down. Not a bad effort so far from Novikov, because I expected him to be a little bit shaky, but then again, he has had like 3 games off, so he might be well rested. Reinhardt made it 5-2 though, just in case you guys wanted me to read that out. And it looks like we are going to be taking a 1-0 series lead here with a 6-2 win in Seattle, as Hartnell got a late goal as well. So Hartnell has been fantastic since that quiet first round. Shots were 37-27 in favor of us at the end of that. That's exactly what we need from this team. But I hope that our offense just doesn't all of a sudden just go down the tubes the rest of the series, because that could happen. So Danner from Parrott and Vico, Hartnell from Claxon and Danner, Bomeister from Jorgensen and Claxon, Jacobson's there for them. Damn, I'm almost reading their scores because our logos are very similar colors. Bobkov from Darby, Reinhardt from Bobkov, Hartnell from Darby and Claxon. Looks like a good game for Claxon. Yeah, 3 assists. Hartnell got first star with the 2 goals, though, and Bobkov got the third star with the goal and assist. Any minus players in that game? Probably not, right? Yeah, no minus players in that game. Couple plus 3s, and a good performance from Novikov. Our goaltending in this playoff run has actually been fantastic, because Novikov's had some really good games, too, in like that first round. And then, yeah, the worst goalie definitely has been Pusher, but obviously he's a young goalie, so he's inexperienced at this stage. So a very, very good first game. Can we have a very solid second game headed home? We've been a really good road team also in this playoff run. So let's keep with Novikov for now, but obviously if he plays really badly, I might turn to Tays, because Tays might be the cheat code. First period of game 2. And it's 2-2. Okay, this is a very offensive series by comparison to the first few rounds, because the first few rounds, I think we only scored around 3 to 4 goals a game. But we had 6 goals in game 1. We have 2 goals in game 2. Korpikari made it 1-0 Kraken. Danner tied it up. Levasseur took the lead for them late. But with 13 seconds left, we get a power play goal from Avery Parrott. He always knows when to step it up. Shots are 12-10 in favor of the Ice Tigers for us. Let's see if we could take a 3-2 lead or a 4-2 lead, or even just keep it tied at least. Just don't trail, basically, going into the third. That's all I want. Second period, still 2-2. Okay, this might be one of those ones that go to overtime. Shots are 24-20 in favor of us. It's a 2-2 game. Real-time simulation for the third period. Let's see if we could grab that lead. Come on, boys. I believe in you. Power play opportunity to start the third period. We do not score on it. That's okay. At least we got some momentum maybe out of that. Final 10 minutes of this third period, and there's a power play goal from Avery Parrott, man. I can't say enough about also Avery Parrott. His playoff performances are peak, especially in the third period. Penalty kill late in the game, we kill it off. Final few seconds, and we managed to take a 2-0 series lead ahead at home. We took both games in Seattle. After we were down 3-1, We get to the conference finals. We're now up 2-0 headed home. That's huge. That is huge. Their goaltender definitely had a much better game, though, in this game, but still. What a start for this team in the conference finals. Danner from Bomeister and Bobkov. Parrott from Jorgensen and Hartnell, and Parrott from Bobkov and Claxon. Okay, I had to stop recording for a second because I thought I saw my Elgato flicker, and I didn't want to risk losing this episode in a sense because of bad technology, but there we go. Parrott the first star, Novikov the second star. Festerini for them had the third star, so good on Festerini for picking up points for the Kraken as a 75. But Novikov's also been really good in this playoff run, like I was saying. We've had no problems really with the goaltending, which is good. Because most of the time when I get to the playoffs, it's always the goaltending that's the problem. So, to have a good 1-2 punch like Novikov and Taze is not too bad. It's not too bad at all. I wouldn't mind getting Pusher in for games, but obviously it doesn't really matter at this stage. So we are up 2-0 in the series headed home. I feel like I should just keep the lines the same. We've outscored them 9-4 in this series so far. And the goaltending numbers for both goalies is probably pretty good, right? Yeah, obviously it's good for Taves, but Novikov is definitely getting much better too. Save percentage up to 912 and a 253 goals against. Let's keep it the same. No sense making line changes when we're winning games. So we have a 2-0 series lead and we're headed home. Can we win at least one of these two games to maybe have ourselves the best chance to get to the Stanley Cup Finals? Here we go. Very important game 3 for the Kraken. They need to win this game basically, or else then they have to win 4 straight and reverse sweep us. First period, 3-0. Wow, our offense has literally just been dynamite, and the Kraken have had like no answer for it. So Hartnell scores, Darby scores, Reinhart scores. We have 3 goals on 10 shots on that 87 overall goalie. So let this be a lesson to you kids. You do not need an 87 overall goalie to win a Stanley Cup. You need a 79 overall goalie like Aiden Taze, you can win a Stanley Cup. Or an 82 overall like Novikov. But an 87 overall doesn't guarantee you a Stanley Cup. So shots are 10-9. We're up 3 goals. Can we get some insurance in the second period? Because if they get 1 or 2 goals back, they could claw back in this game, and that wouldn't be good. So, second period, 6-0. Holy crap. We're going to get reverse swept. We're going to get reverse swept. I know it sounds weird saying it right now. I do not feel safe having a 3-0 series lead. I feel like the game's definitely going to find a way to slap me in the face in this episode. So hold on to your seats. I feel like we're in for a treat. Well, not a treat, a very bad thing to happen. I don't know why. Just because our offense and everything seems to be going so well right now. But then it's going to come crashing down. Unless he wants to be nice to me for a change. Who knows? So Claxon made it 4-0, Vico made it 5-0, and then a late goal from Lucic made it 6-0. Shots are 23-17 in favor of us. I'm really surprised their goalie's still in net, but we have a 6-0 lead going into the third. Let's just... What the heck is happening? Hogwarts makes it 7-0. This might be one of the highest scoring sim engine games I've seen in a while. But, yeah, I honestly feel like we're going to somehow get reverse swept after all this. There's just like that little side of doubt. Like, we've been playing so good, but something might happen. I'm usually right with my predictions with this type of thing too, so that's kind of scary. Shots are 34-32 at the end of the game, but we won 7-0 as Novikov has had a very good conference finals up to this point. He's almost playing like Aiden Taze level. So Hartnell from Denny and Darby, Darby from Claxon and Hartnell, Reinhardt from Lucic and Hagos, Claxon from Keith and Darby, Vico from Keith and Bomeister, Lucic from Reinhardt, and Hagos from Reinhardt and Lucic. What a game. 34 saves from Novikov, Darby the second star, 3 points, and Reinhardt had 3 points as a fourth liner, which is very impressive. Let me take a look at the depth scoring. Look at the plus minus on this team. Every line, every line except for the third line contributed to the offense on this team. That is fantastic. And everybody on the team had a shot on goal except for Ackers and Strachan, who are like pure DFDs pretty much. But yeah, both goalies have been great so far, which is good because if obviously Novikov just all of a sudden continues, like he really starts to play really bad, I could turn to Taze. Like, it's great to have a good 1-2 punch in a playoff scenario. 17 points now in 17 games for Ricardo Hartnell. What started off as a slow playoffs for him has turned out to be a really good one. And yeah, we're 1 win away from going back to that Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know if we're going to, though. I feel like we're honestly going to lose 4 straight games now. Because these 3 games that we played against the Kraken have felt a little bit like too easy in a sense by comparison to like when we played like Vancouver, because we went to 7 games in the first round and a second round, so this feels a lot easier than it should be. And we've scored like how many goals now? We've scored 16 goals in 3 games. We've given up 4 goals. So it just feels a little bit too easy for us, but who knows, maybe we are actually going to go to the Stanley Cup Finals again. Or if we get to the Cup Finals, maybe we're going to have a tough time in the Cup Finals, but here we go. We have a chance to close out the Kraken and go to the Cup Finals again, which is a big surprise to me because I honestly thought this team's window closed a long time ago. Then we won a Stanley Cup. We missed the playoffs, and then I thought we were definitely going to head towards that trend of missing the playoffs or only making like round 1. But once again, we are very close to another Cup Finals with this team, which is very surprising. This team has definitely been better than Houston in terms of getting to the Cup Finals, so here we go. Can we eliminate the Kraken and get to the Cup Finals? We'll intervene with a few minutes left if we do have a chance to clinch the Conference Finals. But here we go. Let's see what happens. First period of Game 4. 1-0 us. Okay. Jeffrey Bouwmeester. So we have not allowed a goal in 4 straight periods. So they're definitely bound to score a goal probably in this second period. But we also could get some more goals too. Shots are 12-10 in favor of us as well. Let's get some insurance in the second period. Second period, 2-1 us. Okay, I'll take it. They tied the game up. Like I said, they're bound for a goal. But Ricardo Hartnell, fantastic. 50 seconds later, answers with a power play goal for us. We're up by 1 goal going into the third with the shots 25-22. Are we headed back to the Stanley Cup Finals? Real-time simulation. Let's see what happens. Like I said, we'll intervene with a few minutes left if that might be the case. Penalty kill. Nicely done. Come on, boys. Penalty kill again. Stop taking penalties here in this third period, and Nida Mackey ties it up for them. Yeah, I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared here. Oh, Jorgensen, the captain, and in maybe his last NHL games almost, with a big goal. Oh, they tied it up. They tied it up. I don't want to intervene now because I don't want to watch an overtime yet, unless this was a Game 7. Let me go back. Oh, this is stressful. Are we going to overtime? Yes, we're going to overtime. Maybe I will watch an overtime. Yeah, maybe I will watch an overtime. How long has this episode been so far? Probably like 18 minutes. I don't even know. Yeah, let's intervene. Let's intervene. This might be a bad thing to do that, but let's intervene. Let's watch this game. Let's commentate over top of it. Just because we know there's copyright issues with some of the stuff in this game, so might as well talk over some gameplay and see if we get that winner to get us to the Stanley Cup Finals again. Also catching this on video would be really nice. Hopefully my Elgato does not freeze. If it freezes and you guys end up missing some of this stuff, I really do apologize. So, let's see what happens here. Face off between Keith and Shane Wright. See if we can get that overtime winner. We're on home ice too, so that would be a pretty electric goal here in Anchorage. Here you go. Parrott finds Vico. This is the first time we're getting to see Vico in game, which is dope. So, hopefully he can get maybe a goal in this game. Oh my goodness, Keith just killed Zikov. You don't need to kill our former player, man. I get throwing hits and stuff like that, but damn. Don't do it to him. He doesn't deserve to be like injured or something like that. Danner, nice play, and you don't. Oh, he's gonna ice the puck. That sucks. He had to do that though. He was kind of under pressure, but that's not a bad icing. That's not a great icing to have in an OT situation, but at least we're up 3-0 in a series, so if we lose this game, it's not the end of the world, but I will be scared that they could still come back, because like I said, this series has been pretty easy so far, which is not what I was expecting. Wright wins the face-off. Zikov shoots and it bounces off a body and over the netting. Good shot block. I don't know who blocked that, but that was a great play. Jacobson for Seattle is up there in hits. Yeah, he's kind of like the Parrott for them, which is interesting. Come on, Keith. Nicely done. Parrott with it. Finds the youngster in Vico. Let's see how good that shot is. Vico isn't going to shoot yet. He's holding on to it. Finds Bouwmeester. Jeffrey Bouwmeester back to Danner. Over to Parrott. Parrott to Vico. Nobody's shooting it on this team, and now Zikov with it. Is he got a letter on his chest in Seattle? Probably, right? He just gets stood up. I think he's the alternate captain. Yeah, he's the alternate captain there. And there's a huge hit. Jacobson down to Shane Wright. Doesn't get to him. Yeah, Shane Wright's the captain. I expected that, since he's been here since the beginning. Vico finds it to Derek Keith. Keith walks in, tries to get past his former defenseman, can't get by him. Damn, Keith is definitely having a good matchup with his former top D man. Shane Wright walks in. Nice play by Parrott. Look at that active stick. We know Parrott likes to use his stick. Claxton hits the post on the one-timer. Wow, I was not expecting Claxton to just shoot it like that. That's kind of surprising. It's kind of surprising. Korpikari walks in. Nice play by Hartnell with the stick. Here comes Claxton again. Claxton's a playmaker, so I'm expecting him to make more passes. And anything he shoots again, and Ernest Petan with a big save. I don't know why Petan's wearing red and blue pads. He must have played in Chicago, right? And I don't mean red and blue, I mean red and black. For some reason I said red and blue. Okay, Claxton. Nice face-off win. Darby tries to shoot it immediately. He gets another shot and a huge save from Petan. Jeez. That was a huge glove. Also, sorry if my voice randomly starts to sound like shit while I'm commenting like this. That's what happens when you record multiple episodes. Strachan with it. Throws it over to Darby. Darby walks in again, and he doesn't get by. Korpikari for the Kraken, carrying it in. Poke it away, boys. Don't let him walk in. He finds Anisimov. Good shot block. This is also our first time, I guess, seeing like Novikov in a game, I feel like. Yeah, I think so. If I'm not mistaken. Bobkov dumps it in. Damn, we have Bobkov and Novikov. I don't know if we have any other Kovs. I don't think so. Here's Anisimov for them. Speaking of Ovs. He shoots. Nice save. Festerini, the former player of ours. This is like our first time seeing him in a Kraken uniform as well. And he finds Korpikari, who scores. Yep, there it is. There it is. They're going to win 3 straight games now. Or 3 straight games, and they're going to win the series. We lose in overtime. We intervened, and that was the risk. Festerini picks up an assist on the game-winning goal that might get the Kraken back into this. I do not feel safe at all. There is Festerini as a Kraken. And yeah, he makes a great play here. Fights off a couple checks. I don't know why Strachan came in to help out like that. He just holds. That would be a holding penalty probably anyways. And a great... And then a great pass from Festerini. He gets by Bobkov, who I don't know why he's down that low. And Morgan Denny loses coverage on his man, and Korpikari just comes right out. Gets the easy goal. Well, that sucks. But we were down up 3-0 in the series anyways, so they were bound to win at least one game. But I am scared that we lost in overtime there. I really think that they might honestly be reverse sweeping us. Because I can predict sometimes what this game has for us. But I think... Even though that was a good game from Novikov, I am going to turn back to Aiden Tays because Aiden Tays might be the thing that could break EA's cycle in that sense. I'm also going to put Hartnell back to the top line because he's been much better, and Vico will play second line with Darby and Claxton. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. And goalie-wise, yeah, Aiden Tays. Okay, let's see if Aiden Tays can get us this win and get us to that Stanley Cup Finals. Because I honestly feel like if I put Novikov in net, he might end up not being doing so well, and then we might end up losing this game and potentially going all the way to a Game 7, which I don't want. So here we go. Can Aiden Tays continue the trend? Last few games he's played, he's only allowed 1 goal in 3 starts. Let's see if he has a big game here for us to get us to that Stanley Cup Finals again. Come on, Tays. I believe in you, man. I believe in you. First period of game number 5. 2-0 us. That's a great start. Derek Heath with both goals. One was early, one was late. Shots are 14-11 in favor of us. That's a great way to start it off. Can we get some more insurance in the second period? Because a 2-goal lead is not always that safe. 3 or 4 would be much better. Second period. 3-1. So we still have the 2-goal advantage going into the third. Boris Zikov got the Kraken on the board. Of course, it's a former defender. And Ricardo Hartnell is just still getting better and better, it seems like. We're up by 2 goals going into the third. Outshooting him 21-18. Real-time simulation third period. We will intervene in the final few minutes if we still have this type of lead. Power play early and Darby scores. There it is. That might be it. Big penalty kill there by the boys as well. That should do it potentially because we're up by 3 goals in this third period. Final 10 minutes. I will intervene shortly, but Aiden Tays, another great effort. Denny scores to make it 5-1. Yeah, we're intervening. Aiden Tays is literally going to have another fantastic game here and get us to the Stanley Cup Finals. I honestly feel like I should be playing him as the starting goalie in the Stanley Cup Finals, but Novikov has had good games too, so we'll probably just continue to do what we do in terms of like goaltending situations. So if one goalie is really bad, we'll play in the other goalie. But man, 5-1 with 4 minutes left. I did not expect this team to honestly have it in them to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals at all. Like when we were down 3-1 in that series in the second round, I thought the season was over, and that would probably close our window at another Stanley Cup. But this team is definitely a cheese team, but I'm okay with it because we have like a low-rated defensive core, low-rated goaltending. Yeah, we're beating these teams that have better goaltending. The defensive cores on some of these other teams are not much better than ours, so maybe that's where it's kind of more even than I think. But the goaltending situation definitely shouldn't be able to win us Stanley Cups, but here we are. We're a few minutes away from going back to a Stanley Cup Finals again. Goes over to LaRose, and he doesn't get anything there. Oh, man. Aiden Tays. This man is insane. He makes a big save there. He's only allowed 1 goal, or 2 goals now in his 4 playoff games he's played. That's if he continues to lock down this one, but that's absolutely insane. LaRose with a great chance, stopped by Patan. Yeah, I like intervening in these games, in these videos, because it's kind of cool to show you guys what all the players are looking like on the ice and how they're performing, because there's a great chance from the 4th line, which doesn't really pick up a lot of offense, but still good to see the 4th line getting chances here, even with us up by 4 goals. Not taking a shift off. The question is, are we going to be able to win another Stanley Cup? Because we're either playing Detroit or Washington. I honestly have no idea what those teams' rosters look like at this stage. So there's another great save from Tays. Zhukov with it. Unfortunately, Zhukov's not going to get another chance for a Stanley Cup this year. But who knows? Maybe he'll win it when our team isn't as good. But he is getting closer to retirement age. But he probably won't retire in the series. And there we go. We are back to the Stanley Cup Finals. After I honestly thought the window had closed last year and missing the playoffs after winning the Stanley Cup, but here we are going back to the Cup Finals again. Mainly, I'd say due to the amount of offensive players we have that are scoring goals, but also because of the goaltending. Like Aiden Tays came in and has been fantastic. Novikov's actually been pretty solid, so goaltending has definitely helped out as Tays goes through the handshake line. And there's Jorgensen getting another clearance as Campbell Bowl. We've been to 4 Stanley Cup Finals now, I think. Yeah, because first one was against Florida. That was a loss. Then we lost to the Islanders. Then we won a Stanley Cup. And now we are 4 wins away from winning another Stanley Cup. But regardless, we've been to more Stanley Cups in this series than we have in a lot of my other series. So this is definitely maybe one of my most successful series in a sense. Not as much as Arizona, but still. Wow. We outshot them 37-24 in that, so Aiden Tays didn't have to face as much shots, but once again, he only allows 1 goal in a big game like that. Like, you can't ask much more from Aiden Tays. Fantastic. Derek Heath was a +4 in that game, so the top line also stepped up when it needed to. And we are headed back to the Stanley Cup Finals. Let me actually take a look quickly in-game and get maybe a screenshot of a couple of these new guys, because I do need some of these guys maybe. There's Lucic for, like, I don't know, like recaps and stuff like that. We already looked at a couple of these guys on the team last time we were into this game. We've already seen LaRose. We've already seen Hagos, but not on the ice. I believe I've seen him on the bench, but not on the ice. So I'll get a screenshot of Hagos here. There we go. And we'll also get one of Tays on the ice, because I did not have one last time of Tays on the ice. But there he is. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good, even though his pads are really weird. Let's take a look at the guys on the bench again. Just go through this a little bit. So there's all... Pretty much this team is the exact same team that won the Stanley Cup. Just a couple changes. There is Novikov as the backup. He's got a great beard. What else we got here? Yeah, pretty much this entire roster is the same. There's very minor changes. There's Vico right there. And that's it. Also, actually, I want to take a look at Joe Thornton behind the bench, because Joe Thornton, I forgot to mention him a couple times, but he has definitely turned this team into being a really good team. There's our head coach. Look at him. Okay. Back to the Stanley Cup Finals, huh? Back to the Cup Finals. Who are we playing for the Stanley Cup? It seems weird saying that because I honestly didn't expect it, like I said. Oh, it's the Washington Capitals because they took out Detroit in 5 games. I honestly don't know who's on the Caps now because I don't think Sean Cox resigned there. So I don't know who is on this team, if there's any former players or whatnot. But let's take a look first at our player stats through the first 3 rounds. And also compare our team stats as well against Washington's. So center-wise, Hartnell's been fantastic. He's been our best player, I think, in terms of offense. Parrott's been great. Claxon's been great. Claxon is so underrated. Derek Heath's been great, but he's been kind of quiet still at times. Ryan Hart's been pretty good as a 4th liner. Darby's been good. Vico has been good, but he's definitely slowed down a bit, but that's okay. Bobkov's been good. Hagos, Lucic. Yeah, in general, just everybody on this team has been not too bad. Because if we go to the forward core, very good depth scoring. We're relying heavily on 3 guys that are scoring most of our goals, but if Parrott, Hartnell, and Vico weren't on this team, we'd have trouble scoring goals, but these guys are our goal scorers, and they're doing their job. Defensively, Danner and Bouwmeester have been fantastic. Denny and Kronwall have been great. Kronwall's a +16, and Ackers is a +13. This pairing is a 75 and a 74. Just goes to show you, you do not need any super flashy defenders to get to a Cup Finals. And Strachan is a -1, but that's okay. And then goaltending-wise, yeah, Novikov's been really good, but look at Aiden Tays. A 984 save percentage in 4 games, a .53 goals against. Outrageous. I'll probably start Novikov for the Cup Finals, but honestly, if he doesn't play that good, obviously Tays is there. I don't think I'm going to be turning to Pusher anytime soon, though. So there's that. Let me take a look at what the Washington Capitals did during the regular season and playoff-wise, and then we'll take a look at their roster. See if it's actually accurate to what their goal scoring is like and stuff. So in terms of the entire league, we were ahead of them in the standings. They were... Where were they? Oh my goodness. Oh, they're the cheese team. They're a cheese team. No, we're going to get cheesed in the Cup Finals, aren't we? If we win the Stanley Cup here, though, that'd be awesome. But we might get cheesed. They went 39, 35, and 8. They were the 21st team in the league. And they made it to the Cup Finals. They scored less goals than they allowed. Their power play was not great. Their penalty kill was okay. But, oh my goodness. What has made them turn it on in the playoffs? They must have a lot better of a roster than it looks. Or something. Playoff-wise so far, they're 12-5, we're 12-7. We're better offensively. They're better defensively. Okay? Their power play has been terrible. And our penalty kill and their penalty kill has been really similar. So, that is interesting. So we might actually have a good shot at winning the Stanley Cup if they play like they did during the regular season. But who knows? We honestly could get cheesed here in this final. So here's their roster. Preston Nelson. Don't even recognize your name. Trevor Zegras is in Washington at 39. And Lee Battaglia. So that's a pretty good top line. Not going to lie. Second line, Jared Brashear, Marco Niemi, and Philip Peltier. Don't recognize any of these guys either. And in the third line, Jordan Jones, Nathan Gauthier, and Mark Lapierre. And a fourth line of Pierce Dolan. Why do I recognize that name? New York Rangers. Where else did he play? Oh, Vancouver. That's why. Yeah, I recognize him from Vancouver. Vyacheslav Khudobin and Kimo Lepisto. I recognize that name too. It said he was drafted by Nashville. He did play a little bit in Nashville. Did he play any playoffs games in Nashville? Yes, he played 1 year. That might be where I recognize that guy's name from. But other than that, this is definitely the best forward core we've played yet. Even though they had a rough regular season. So that's kind of scary. And this is also maybe one of the best defensive cores we've seen, but it doesn't have a unanimous stud. Cam Blaine, Danil Chaika, Colton Chipchura, Christopher Hines, Hunter... This is the first time I've seen this last name. Bruce Tewitz. Brustowitz? Yeah, maybe like Brustowitz. I don't know how to pronounce that. Stanley Fraze as well. And in goalie-wise, they have actually a solid 1-2 punch as well. Matthias Shodin and Nicholas Mullen. They have been a really good defensive team in the playoffs so far, and it's mainly because of the Shodin guy. He's got a 943 save percentage through 17 games, so that's kind of scary. And depth-wise, Isaac Burns and Bryce McConnell Barker. Huh. Yeah, that's an interesting team. It's definitely a lot better than it looked regular season-wise, so that's a little bit scary in its own, but it should be an interesting Cup Finals nonetheless. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft the Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the Stanley Cup Finals against the Washington Capitals as we look to win our second cup in 3 years. So just think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.